hello, there's no getting rid of me today, and I'm not even sorry. I hear you a lot. Are you okay? Wow, today's pretty mental. I've been going live. I have been having the most phenomenal phone calls. We've had 4 people join Be Inspired today. And we're not even closing Be Inspired today. We're closing Be Heard, which is just phenomenal. So huge shout out to Maria Park yesterday, Maria Anderson jumped on yesterday, Gillian Parks jumping in today, Jodie Murphy, Louise James, all jumping in to our fabulous new cohort. We only have 8 spaces left on Be Inspired, and then we are done. The doors will shut. We have got 6 spaces left on Be Heard, but Be Heard, my loves, closes today. The 8-week program for 8-week speaker program, my foundation course, and Be Heard Pro closes today. We start on Wednesday. So Be Inspired is going to keep its doors open for another week or so, because I know lots of you still making money work and moving things around, and it's all good. I want to make sure I get all of the right people in. So if you do want to speak to me about Be Inspired, fret not. I'm available over the weekend and on into next week as well. But Be Heard today at 10 o'clock. The doors will close. So get yourself sorted out. Carla Wiggins, hello. One of our pros is in the house. Hello, sausage. Excited to have you watching along today. I've just interviewed previously the incredible Laura Rowe and the gorgeous Amy Mantle. I am now about to bring a new, she's not new. We've been together for a good while now, doing lots of awesome things together. But another Be Inspired alumni, fresh from the Be Inspired Mastermind. Please welcome to have a little chat with me this afternoon, the very awesome Samantha Ayris. See what I did there? Up here for thinking.
Hi.
Hello, sausage. Thank you for coming to speak to us this afternoon. You are the last of my interviews this week, and you were the last of our speakers on Be Inspired. You have this I'm going to close things out vibe about you. I don't know what it is, Sam.
Yeah, finish them off, you mean?
Finish them off, ending on a high and all of that sort of stuff. Sam, thanks for coming to join us this afternoon. We have just 10 minutes today to have a little talk about your experience with regards to Be Inspired, Be Heard, working with me, what that's like. Because we didn't start by speaking together, right? We didn't start in the speaking space. That's very sibilous. Lots of S's there. Where did we start?
I came to the Summer Swarm.
Many S's. You came to a Summer Swarm.
Summer Swarm, yeah. And on the back of that, I then came to watch Be Inspired with a view. Basically, I was just kind of being a spy.
Yeah.
To do it.
Yeah.
And I literally, before anything had even happened, I walked in the room and I went, yeah, piss, do that.
I love that. So, and often this happens is that people come along to Be Inspired because they like the vibe, they can see the videos, they can see people like yourself who've, spoken at it, and they go, do you know what? I'm not ready to jump in with Danny yet, but I want to go and kind of feel what the community is all about. The best way to do that is, of course, to grab a ticket, get on into that room, because it's gorgeous, isn't it? It's just a love and learn fest. And then often people come to me afterwards and go, hey, want to speak on that stage. Now, when you say it's a piece of piss, was it a piece of piss?
Well, I think if you on that day had have said to me, oh shit, Sam, somebody's dropped out, or can you just do this, or can you just fill in this link or whatever, I would have stood on the stage and I'd have done it.
Correct. Yes. Right. So you already had form, and you already had technique and skill and talent where speaking was concerned already in the bag before you even started to work with me, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I've worked in like entertainment, I've worked as a DJ, I've done quite a lot of big, like, I don't know, like boxing type events and keynote sort of evenings and things like that. I've compared that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the spotlight has never been on me.
Right. So where you are key feature, right? So the conduit, a lot of what I done in the past with regards to performance in my formative years, you're the conduit, you're the person that's kind of moving the event along. So although you're in the spotlight, it isn't about you, you're just kind of guiding people through, right? Then we made it about you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then of course, just the way that I am, I'm very much, well, that's fine. I can, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. Okay. And I kind of planned it. I knew what I was going to talk about all the way through. And I tried writing it and I was just like, this is crap. This is not me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to getting on the stage and whipping up a crowd, not standing in one spot and talking about something. This is boring, and this isn't portraying me very well.
Mm-hmm. So you had this like stage persona, and then with this stage persona, we've got to marry that up with a key set of messages that are going to elevate and amplify. So one of the things we've talked about in the lives this week, on the show this week, is that when you're a speaker, your talks are a vehicle, you're the driver, and we want to drive people to our destination. Now, when you're a compere, or when you're DJing, or when you're, comparing an evening, whatever you're doing, your job as a driver is to get people to the end of the event and out safely through the door, right? Or to get them onto the dance floor, or get them applauding, or whatever that is. And when you're a speaker, the destination is to your business or to your mission. And so you really had to sit on the spike, didn't you? And go, actually, what is the mission? Is it just to get more people in my business? Is that what I want? Or is it bigger than that? And I think that was the real big bit of exploration that you did, isn't it?
Yeah. I realized that I wasn't necessarily making a connection with what I wanted to say. I wasn't making a connection.
Yeah.
And I knew, I'm really good at reading a crowd.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I already knew before I did it, that what I was going to say was not going to go down well in a crowd.
Interesting.
So
I love it.
I had to find a way to hook them in to like know me, like me, trust me, before I can then launch into what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And we do, as part of this kind of, you write down all the things that have happened to and for you. And I knew, and I was never intended to tell you ever. I
have a way.
I knew I had this story kind of hidden away in there, but I'm not one for showing myself and my true, like, I like to keep myself to myself as part of the talk. I like to keep my business. I don't, I'm a listener. I listen to what everybody else has got to say.
Yeah.
I don't really share my own side. I just kind of take and then then chip in with relevant information.
Yep.
But it just wasn't enough when I was planning this. And then I realized, I started writing and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to do this.
I'm gonna have to go there in order to take it to where it needs to go, right? Because the makings of a great talk isn't just value. It's not just, I'm going to tell you some things about this thing that I know. It's connection plus value. We've got to connect and have that audience feel safe and knowing of you, and give enough away of yourself for them to go, oh, they're a safe person, right? I'm ready to listen. Because if you go straight into teach or rant or soapbox or whatever it is that you're going to get on, there is a worry sometimes that you might fall into teacher mode. Now, for a lot of people, spent a lot of time in the education system not liking the teachers. So if you all of a sudden stand up and you're a teacher and people aren't expecting that, you're not going to connect. You're going to get, in fact, the worst, you're going to get a disconnect. So allowing yourself to do that exploration work, to see how you could marry up. And that was the next thing, wasn't it? How do you segue? How do you match up the story to the message?
Yeah. And actually, I worried about that. I felt like I had a talk of two halves all the way through. And I was like, maybe I just not bother with the second part. But I told myself all the way through, there's got to be a purpose behind it. There's no point in standing on stage and telling a story if it means nothing and leads them.
Otherwise, you're huffing and puffing and saying nothing, right? Coin a phrase of one of my former mentors, Brad Byrne, you can be talking and people like to sound, people come to me in the calls that I've had this week, I just want to tell my story. Well, good, but
Yeah.
why? What do you want your outcomes to be? What did you want your outcomes to be, Sam?
Well, bearing in mind I was never going to talk about this story, it was all about the business for me.
Yes.
It was
So
all
tell us about your business, because the crucial thing here is the potential for controversy around what it was that you wanted to share was very real. And
Yes.
so the connection was important so that
Yeah.
you had that trust in the audience so you could share what it was that you wanted to share. So do you mind to share it? Would you share with us a little bit?
Yeah, I'll try and keep it in a nutshell. So yeah, I work in the network marketing industry,
Yes.
which is very controversial. Everybody seems to have something to say about it.
Right.
And
for anybody watching out there, if you are in network marketing, we love you and we support you. By the way, that is right off of the bat. There is no disregard within the IoTQB community for network marketers. You are loved and welcome and safe. Come and learn how to do it even better in this community.
Yeah. And yeah, I am one. And yet
exactly that.
My problem is that there are so many people out there who stay quiet and don't push themselves out there in the right way.
Yeah.
To build themselves a really good, lucrative business.
Right.
Network marketing is amazing. It makes more millionaires than people even realize.
Yep.
And most people, even like some of the biggest millionaires, if you ask them, what are your other streams of income? They'll always have some network marketing in there somewhere. It's just they don't shout about that.
Right.
So my point is, why? Why can't we shout about it? If these millionaires can't even shout about it, for God's sake, why?
Yeah.
I'm going to start pointing this out. So I thought, I already knew that, once I got on the stage, I was not afraid to say what I wanted to say.
Right.
But people needed to connect with me.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, this sounds awful because it's like I'm trying to find a way to wheedle my way in there, but I wasn't.
It wasn't. It's just about, instead of getting up on stage and saying the controversial thing, and it's for everybody, this is for everybody who's got anything to say, right? So for me, body autonomy is one of the things that I've been speaking about recently, especially in light of having gastric surgery, and also being a body confidence advocate, an advocate for being confident within yourself and loving yourself and all of this sort of stuff. So what I've got to say is controversial. Now, if I get on stage and just say, I am a body confidence, advocate, I am here for body positivity or body acceptance at the very least, and I've had gastric sleeve surgery, everyone's going to go, what the fuck? I'm going to have to tell a story to get myself there, because eventually I'm going to be straight sized, I'm going to be cis sized, I'm going to be, probably settle around a size 10, 12, something like that. And who am I then to get on the stage and say, hey, everybody, you should love yourselves, it's all right for you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to connect with people and tell them my story in order to get them to where it is that I want them to be. And similarly for you, you couldn't just stand up on stage and go, yeah, network marketing. Everyone's going to go, all right, then we've heard it all before. They've got to know why are you giving that story? And you delivered something really special.
Yeah, I realized that actually I do have a story and I have come a long way, because I came from being almost mute to standing on the stage and roaring at people.
Yeah, and that's what happened. And they roared back. It was amazing. It was a beautiful way to end the situation. Being such a strong pair of hands already, isn't it? We've already said you already had skill and talent, not just talent. Some people come to me and they've had a go and they're an enthusiastic amateur. You already had talent in the field. You already had skill where you'd worked on the talent, but you were ready to take it that next step on. So I was like, hey, I know you've got similar kind of like big energy as me. That's how we need to finish the day. How about rounding out the day? Which was a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, it was. I wouldn't ever deter anybody from doing it. But what I would say is brace yourself for the roller coaster ride before you get on the stage.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, if I was being the usual me, just finishing off the day, I'd have been all day like, yeah, woo, and crying and laughing with everybody. I couldn't do that because I had to keep my own emotions in check.
Yeah.
And I didn't sit down for the entire 2 weeks because And I was like, energy.
2 days. It wasn't 2. You did sit down during 2 weeks.
Oh, did I say 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 days. We didn't make Sam stand up for 2 weeks prior to the event, but the 2 days you were like, I mean, your talk was about finding the lion inside, right? And you were like a caged big cat for the. It was amazing. You were like prowling. It was amazing. But you did. And owning your process is a real important part of the journey for everybody. And I think something that you decided very early on was that you were going to own your process the whole way through. The way that you engaged with the training, the way that you engaged with your work, the way that you engaged with yourself and everybody else over the course of the day. Really brilliant. The way that you held those boundaries for yourself and the way that you held your process, because that way you was able to go out and do the very best job. And you did. It was just phenomenal when you got there.
I think, if anything, because this is the first time I've ever spoken about things personally, that bubbled over a little bit. And that some people have said to me, yeah, but that's what that kind of makes you
human. Yeah.
For me, it was totally out of my comfort zone because I'm 100% always in control.
Right.
And I wasn't. And I was like, oh, all of a sudden, I stood on the stage and my first slide was a picture of this mouse. And I looked over at the mouse and I went, all of a sudden, I'm like, I spent 2 days like working up to being this lion. I had one glance at the screen and I saw this mouse. I was like, oh, it's a lion.
But what was good is that then you really engaged all of the things that you'd learned, that you'd been aware of, and you started to apply them. And what you ended up delivering was it was a showstopper. You had the audience on the feet, they were roaring, you completely closed out the day. So, Sam, we had a great time. It was good. We did lots of learning and lots of loving, lots of laughing, and we delivered a talk. But how are you different now than, or what insights do you have now you're on the other side, as opposed to when you first started working with me? I'm interested to know that for you particularly.
Yeah, I think the getting on the stage and doing the thing was not what it was about for me.
No.
At all.
Yeah.
But it was the way I'm connecting and conveying my message, I think.
Yes.
And maybe even a bit of the acceptance of other people.
Yeah.
So that entire audience, there were so many people that came to me or messaged me or whatever afterwards and said they resonated with what I'd said, or that they work in network marketing and they feel it. And it's like, where do these people come out of the woodwork? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they
absolutely,
and that they could talk to me. So I feel that it's that I've just bridged a gap.
Yes.
Bridged a gap between myself and other people.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know, maybe had a little bit of a wall, a bit of a barrier around me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that comes from, years and years of having people's reactions, but knowing how to bridge the gap, knowing how to then utilize that connection. Because in your team, and you were, during the time that we worked together, and not because of us working together, you was comparing an event whereby you're inviting the likes of Rob Moore on stage, for example, and you're sharing a stage and a lineup with the likes of Rob Moore. And to outside of your industry needs to know that version of you, and the way to bridge that is to work out what's the connection plus value. How do I bring people in so that they can see that what we're doing is just fucking dead good? And it is amazing. I'm in absolute awe of what you've created. You've got a fantastic business, and you really do. And you've used this phrase before. You're utilizing your skills and your prowess and your expertise now to kind of wash the face of the industry that you're in, so that you have people within your team and within your company that are doing it right, in the right way, with the right kind of intent and integrity, so that they can do all the things that they want to do. And I'm just so proud of you. If anybody is sat there right now and they're thinking about doing Be Inspired, Sam, what you're telling them?
You don't. It's such a whirlwind. I don't think you know what you're going to get out of it when you think you know what you want out of it. But what you come out with is something completely different and actually so much better. If, like, I wasn't afraid of standing on the stage, but if you weigh up kind of your fear of standing there and doing that thing with everything that you against everything that you get out of it, there is just no comparison whatsoever. No comparison whatsoever. The other thing is that when I was first starting to think about this, I'd already done an event in London with the Hippodrome, and then I knew that I was going to be speaking at another event that Rob Moore was going to be speaking at, and I found out how much he was charging.
Right. And it's a penny. It's a pretty penny.
Oh, he was 25 grand. I'm just going to say it.
Say it.
He was getting paid £25,000 to stand on the same stage as me for an hour and a half. I was on stage literally all day.
Yeah.
And I got paid nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I was to be on stage with him for the thing. And I thought, I'm missing a trick here by doing this. But learning these skills, because I find this easy. And I know there was, within my industry and my community that I work with, not one other person wanted to do it.
Right.
And I was like,
you're sat on something really special when you have that sort of natural ability then to realize that of yourself and then start to make the table. And saying this again, a lot of people come and work with me because I want to be paid as a speaker. You don't necessarily have to be paid as a speaker. And there were lots of alumni that are going out there. Lizzie Jackson Bright, perfect example. We worked for ITV this week and getting, all of that sort of stuff. There's great speaking outcomes that we get. But what you get paid to speak isn't necessarily the only place that you get paid when you speak. So by creating, and I've done this with Be Inspired, I was like, at the time, it was just before COVID and I weren't getting loads of speaking gigs at the time. And I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm going to make my own. I needed to make the assets anyway. I did show up Rise Up Live was the first one that I did. And I did loads of discounted tickets and I got all my mates there and I was like, we're going to make this look dead busy. I'm positioning myself as a speaker. That's what's going to happen now. And I made a speaking career out of creating speaking events. And now I'm in that position where I'm getting paid thousands to go and speak. So, and you've got that, you have that ability within you as well now. And I just think
that's the other thing I would say. Probably the thing that tipped it over the edge for me, the reason I wanted to do it, was the show reel.
Yes.
I got my show reel back yesterday.
I've not seen it yet.
Well, I haven't shared it yet because there's just a couple of tweaks to do.
Do an edit, yeah.
Just to my brand, that's all. Yeah. They're slightly off. And yesterday I had a bit of one of those days, like you do, because out the other side of this, it's all of a sudden, it's like a huge level up. It's almost like you're starting to elevate this almost celebrity status out of it.
And you get people messaging you get people even people come up to you in the street or like, oh, I seen you on this thing. And because we share you with our community and it's, we're everywhere.
So I was having this little bit of a wobble. I was getting testimonials from people and I was like,
how do I receive that?
Yeah, it was just like, I really honestly had that Nikki Graham on my shoulder going, who is she? What are you doing?
She lives in me as well, God rest her.
Thank God. All day I was like, ugh. And then at the end of the day, my show reel popped through on my emails like, close my eyes and press the button. And then I just cried all the way through it because I just thought, oh my God, I'm doing all of those things.
This is she.
She's
here now.
You're doing it, and so I have like physical evidence of me doing that.
Yeah, and that's what bookers need. They need to be able to see, and that's why we create these incredible assets. So the photography, the show reel, the speaker sheets, so that you can then go out there and say to conference, festival owners, people that are putting on events, look, I can look. And you're showing up in a way that isn't just a little bit of pre-recorded off your video, off your phone. It's not just your mum's just sent it to you because she's a bit proud of you and she sent you a little clip when you were on stage that time. It is a profession, and it's they're slick as fuck, aren't they? They're so slick.
Yeah, it's amazing. I cannot wait to share it.
I can't wait. Please do share it with us when it comes through. Sam, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with you. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Obviously, we're friends now. We've got the winner dinner tonight as well. Being one of the day 2 lovelies, we're eating at a Michelin star restaurant tonight for winning the ticket competition. That if you are a part of Be Inspired, you're split into 2 cohorts, day 1 and day 2. And then there's a little competition to sell loads of tickets. Day 2 won this time. Normally day 1 wins, so day 2 didn't even bring up the rear, absolutely smashed it. So we're going for a lovely Michelin, I can't even talk, a Michelin starred restaurant dinner this evening. I'm very excited to see you and give you a big squeeze.
And I need to get scrubbed up.
I need a shower. I'm on last day of launch for the Be Heard program. I'm like, I've not moved from this seat since 7 o'clock this morning.
Well,
so yes, I will see you. I will smell better. I'm glad it's not smell-o-vision that we've got going on right now. I will have a shower before I see you and give you a squish.
Good to hear it.
I'll see you later. Thanks for joining us, Sam.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
That was the fantastic Sam Ayris. Please do go and check her out. Go and connect with her on Facebook. Her content is phenomenal. For anybody that's wanting to work on their personal development, on their leadership as well, the copy that Sam writes, the quality of the content that she puts out there, you can only learn from that woman. She is amazing. So that is it for the Alumni Talks this week. Doors to Be Heard, which is our standard program, and Be Heard Pro, which is our standard program mixed in with some one-to-one with me, shuts today at 10. Please do not wait till half an hour past 10 or 5 minutes past 10. The doors will be shut. Please make sure that you jump in before 10 p.m. this evening. Be Inspired, the mastermind. The doors are still open. They will remain open for another week or so yet. We only have 8 spaces left and we are full. So 8 spaces left on Be Inspired, 6 spaces left on Be Heard Pro. And if you do want to jump in for Be Heard, there are extended payment plans available. So on Be Heard, there is a 3-month payment plan. Be Heard Pro, there is a 4 and a 6-month payment plan. And of course, Be Inspired, there is a 6, a 9 and a 12-month payment plan. If you do want to know more, go to imthequeenbee.co.uk or just bloody well drop me a DM. Get into my DMs. What are you waiting for? Stop waiting around. Come and take some action and I'll see you in there. Take care.